seems like we've been on the road a lot. We left last Thursday to bus to Fort Worth. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 games in 3 days. Fortunate enough to win the championship. Then as soon as all the hoopla and all that was over, we jumped on a plane and flew up to Indianapolis. Got in late Sunday night, early Monday morning. Once we had our COVID test and got in our rooms, it was 1:30, 1:45 a.m. And it was, I think everybody was just exhausted. 3 games, 3 days. And I think we had the quarantine on Monday, and I think that turned out to be a blessing in disguise. It's like everybody was just exhausted. Just stayed in the rooms. Meals were delivered, and we've just kind of been living a very nomadic life. Once we had the 2 negatives on the testing, the COVID test, we've been to our rooms, down to our meeting rooms, to the practice court, back to our rooms, and to get COVID tested. That's it. We haven't been anywhere else since we got here. So, but 2 good practices. I guess 1 good practice yesterday. Oh, this is today, Wednesday. So yesterday was Tuesday. Good practice yesterday. Everybody was flying around, excited to play. First time we did anything actually since the game Sunday. And then we'll practice today, tomorrow, go play Friday night. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, if you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll get to you. First question will go to Joseph Duarte from the Houston Chronicle. Joseph, go ahead.
Good morning, Kelvin.
Good morning.
Everything that you guys have been through this year, the NCAA just said that all 68 teams are good to go. There's no contingency plans. I know it's sort of been such a fluid situation this year, but to hear that, does that give you some optimism about the tournament and how things sort of, even though you've gone through some of the inconveniences and you've done that all year, that this tournament looks like it can go off with the way everybody hopes it does?
Well, I mean, I didn't know that they had said that, and I don't think once we got here and got tested, and our team continued to test negative, I don't know. I see a lot of other. It's just like being in an AAU tournament in a way. Just how many teams they say are here?
68.
Well, I know that. I'm talking about the hotel. How many teams are at this hotel? 20-some? Yeah, 25 or 30 teams at this hotel alone. So when we're headed to practice or headed down to the a meeting room where we watch film. We have this big room where we watch film and tape, eat. We have a basketball court drawn up a room, carpet. Everybody has a room like this. So I don't think I thought any. That was not a relief to me, Joseph, because we were just assuming we were going to play.
Next, we'll go to Chris Gardner from Houston Round Ball Review. Chris, please go ahead.
Coach, who are players to watch for Cleveland State, and what is their style of play?
A very guard-dominant team. They always play with a 5. Got 6'8", 6'9" kid, Eichelberger kid transfer from DePaul. 6'9" kid Johnson is really, really athletic and long. Shot blocker, rim protector. Their leading scorer is Patton, 6'4", 6'5" guard. I had some buddies of mine when they saw our draw text me and just raved about the Gamillion kid. So he was a straw that stirs their drink. The more I watch him on film, see why. He's my kind of player. Tough kid, hard-nosed, defensive player of the year in their league. Knows how to put the biscuit in the basket. Well put together team. bunch of shooters. They can score, but they can guard. I think what they're really good at is very similar to us. You know, they defend, they rebound, they play hard. Very well coached team. So, but the leading scorer is Patton, 6'5" guard. Identity guy is Chameleon, 6'4", 6'5" guard. Good point guard in Baudouin. Shooters and Oglesby and Hodge. They have a kid, Hodge, like Cam for us, made 10 threes in a game this year. Good team. Nobody but good teams left. You know, if you're a good team, you're in this tournament. So if you win a game, that means you had to beat a good team. It's Cleveland State qualifies. They're a good team.
Next, we'll go to Mark Berman with Fox 26. Mark, please go ahead, sir.
Hey, Kelvin, how are you doing?
Hey, Mark.
Coach Gates talked at length this week about what you've meant to him for many, many years, from when you recruited him to the book you sent him in the letter, and how it's meant so much to him all his career. How special is that for you to have the kind of impact you've had on Coach Gates as he works in the same profession as you?
Well, I think the guy that's had the biggest impact on him would be Leonard Hamilton. You know, who I've known for, I don't know, almost 40 years, I guess. Leonard's one of my best friends. But Dennis is, you know, he gets it. You know, these young guys that are starting coaching today start so far ahead of where my generation started. You know, I didn't have a Leonard Hamilton as a role model. You know, Leonard didn't have a Leonard Hamilton. You know, he had to figure it out himself. And I think whatever creativity, imagination we have came from having to do it on our own. But I admire this. The reason I feel so good about this younger generation is like the coaches I have on my staff, my young guys, Dennis, guys like that. They're smart, they're articulate, they understand team. They're able to see things and do things and try things that you know, maybe an earlier generation didn't have the advantage of. But they're not afraid. You know, Dennis is a tough dude. You know, Whitney Young High School in Chicago, that's where I knew him. And then I remember the instance where he took me to the airport. I do remember that. That's a good thing, I guess. I can remember that. But proud of him. Congratulations to Cleveland State, the athletic department, the basketball team. They've got a keeper there in Dennis. They're lucky to have him.
Kelvin, how cool is that he has kept the book you sent him that you autographed and that
Might be for him. So I mean, that's flattering. But you know, we all do something where we pay it forward. There's some Judd Heathcote, you know, hired me as a grad assistant when he didn't have to, and he almost didn't. It's amazing how that worked out. But you know, we're all in a position to help somebody. You know, when you're a coach, you learn to give, and you learn to give back and pay things forward. You know, and it especially rings true in this pandemic, where you learn not to take yourself very seriously. You know, it's about doing things for others. You know, realizing that we all have jobs to do. You know, you guys out there that's craving for information about their team. You know, about Quentin and DeJon and Marcus, Bryson, Justin, Jamal, all these guys. So, you know, there's an appreciation for what you do. Young guys, you know, think about how many young guys in your profession look up to the Joseph Duarte's and Chris Gardner's and Matt Musels and Mark Berman's that would love to be in your position. You know, we all have a responsibility to give back and help others, because our time will be gone. We'll move on. We'll become a distant memory. But we can just be remembered for helping others. I think that's a pretty good legacy to leave.
We'll go to Greg Bailey with KTRK. Greg, please go ahead.
Hey, Kelvin, how has Justin Gorham emerged as a team leader for you, and how far has he come, do you think, program?
Well, I remember about Justin at Towson State, and then the first time I saw him, I liked him. But when you see a young man, your instincts and your eyes go to how will you use him? Where can he help us? Not is he a good player. A lot of good players just don't fit. They don't play the way, you know, kids have to play the way you coach, and you have to coach to fit the way they play. The first thing jumped out at me was that he fit. Tough kid. I don't know what undersized means. You know, if you can do something, that means you're big enough. And you're always big enough if you're good enough. You know, I had so many mothers at basketball camp say, well, if my son was bigger, I said, his size, the problem's not his size. You're always big enough if you're good enough. Justin was good enough. But I think this was the right program for him to develop his strengths, toughness, competitiveness, rebounder he was. I think he found a niche. Kellen does such a great job with his position work. You know, all the way back to Devontae Pollard and Devin Davis, Fabian, Justin. You know, whoever Kellen works with, it seems like that position just really blossoms. And you know, whereas I may have the team, Aquinas especially with those guards, and Kellen with a lot of those front guys, our player development area is critical to our success. And we have to have a plan for each one of these kids. But they have to buy into the plan. They have to buy into, this is the way you're going to play. This is what we see as your strengths. And for some of them, it's just facts. You know, they're told one thing, and when they get here, we say, look, here's our evaluation. And we can't miss on evaluations, and normally we don't. So Justin was a kid that fit us. We had a style of play that fit him, but he deserves all the credit. He's a hard worker, and he is competitive and tough. And we're lucky that we got to coach Justin.
And Kelvin, it looks like he's earned the right to he leads by example, but then that also carries over things he says to his teammates. You can see that during games as well. They respond to that.
Yeah, we have DeJon and Justin both. And what you said, Greg, is true. They've earned the right. There's a lot of guys that, you know, they're not out there when the bullets are flying, and they show up after it's over and try to lead then. Those guys get called out real quick, especially in a program like this. But you go all the way back to when Alan Bishop has these guys in June, July, August, September, while we're doing basketball conditioning weights, we're molding. You can find out the ones that are sincere. Just because a guy likes to play doesn't mean he likes to work. You know, that's usually the demarcation line in this program, is the work part. And Justin embraced that. It's not easy. It's not easy. That's why you hear them refer to this a lot. But he's come a long way. I'm really proud of him.
I've got time for one more question here, guys. Coach Sampson's got to go. We've got Matt Musil from KHOU. Matt, go ahead, please, sir.
Yeah, Kelvin, I just wanted a quick question about Fabien White. You talked about the work ethic and things that you instill in people, but Fabian, just can you talk about his importance, what he's shown everyone to come back and be the
seniors, DeJon and Justin and Bryson, those three guys. I think there's an appreciation from those three guys especially. I think they really appreciate Fabian coming back because he didn't have to, you know, and I think it's important from our standpoint that we backed away from that. We couldn't encourage or ask questions. I wouldn't dare ask him, how you know, Fabian, how you doing? You think maybe you can come back? No. I might have said, Fabian, you look good. I never asked a question. I said, Fabian, looks like you're ramping up your work. I'd see him on I'd walk in the training room some mornings and he'd be on the Alter G working out. But I think he talked to Kellen. Kellen would talk to me. I don't think Fabian wanted to tell me what his plans were, but he would tell Kellen, and Kellen would tell me. But you could tell when he started doing more in practice, and John would talk to him. John Houston would talk to me. But I just think it tells a lot about the closeness of this team and the respect they have for each other, that he would come back from an ACL. And I'll never forget where I was when we were shut down. I was at home when I found out that John said, Coach, I got bad news. And when he says bad news, I knew it was bad. He told me tore his ACL, he'd be out for the year. But the fact that he wanted to come back and contribute, knowing that he's not going to have the same role he had before, was telling me winning individual stuff. But I'm glad you brought that up, Matt. That's a great story, what Fabian's doing. And just a lot of respect, I think, on this team for him, and a lot of love too. Which I think is a great backstory with this group. They really do have a lot of love for each other.